This is Good Day. It is 6:46, and of course, every Wednesday we sit down with Sheriff Joe Lombardo for a Morning Cup of Joe. Thanks for joining us again this morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. So let's start with something that has been in the news the last couple of days. It has to do with someone we see on the news a lot. Traffic Bureau Captain Nick Farese put on paid administrative leave. He's been outspoken. We have him on the news quite a bit, and now he's on paid leave, as I mentioned. What can you tell us about his status with Metro right now and your involvement in the investigation of what took place? And, well, and I appreciate that there's not a whole lot that can be said, but...
No, there's absolutely nothing that can be said. I mean, he is on paid administrative leave, and it's an internal personnel issue, so I can't really talk about that publicly.
And just quickly, with not getting into the details of it, but is this something that you're personally handling, or is this being handled elsewhere within the department about what happened and how to move forward?
No, it's being handled elsewhere in the department, but, you know, when you say personally, I am involved in all decisions to relieve people of duty. So, yeah, I'm aware of what's taking place, but it's going through the process.
Any reaction to what took place? Just a reaction to what happened, I guess. I can't think of another way to ask it.
No. I understand you trying to find more information out about it, but that's the best I can do is say it's an internal matter, okay, and it's being addressed.
Last month there was a fight and a shooting at Fashion Show Mall, and unfortunately we've had these incidents before here in Las Vegas. What is the response when you have a shooting like this from Metro's standpoint in these crowded, populated areas?
Well, yeah, I mean, it puts the hair up on the back of your neck when we get these type of calls, because you don't know the gravity or the breadth or how big in actuality the actual call is. And, you know, a lot of times those calls end up being nowhere near as bad as you first think. And you know, the example 1 October, it got worse the longer we waited. Yeah. So, but in this case, we became aware of it, and my concern as the head of the police agency is the police response. You know, ensuring that we're responding appropriately and quickly and with a quality deployment. And we soon found out that there was nobody injured in this event, but it doesn't take away the angst of the customers and the employees involved in those type of events, and it's important for us to respond quickly, appropriately, and have a thorough investigation. And fortunately, we executed an arrest with this event. So
let's also switch to the outskirts of town. And
let me just add a little bit to that. You know, well, what are employees supposed to do in those things? And,
sure.
And we always say run, hide, fight. And you know, for your first thing to do, if you can run and get away from the threat, obviously do that. And if you can't, find a place to hide, and hopefully the assailant doesn't see you or avoids you. And if not, last choice, you know, fight. Address the threat as soon as you can to save lives.
Sure. So it's unfortunate we have to deal with that these days. Recently, let's talk about another story. This was actually in Hawaii, the woman who was lost in the wilderness there for 17 days. Here in the Valley, there are rescues that happen at Red Rock. They're at Lake Mead. Let's talk about what people should do when they get in trouble in the wilderness, and how Metro and rescue teams respond when something does take place.
Yeah, you know what's unique about that one? I saw it was crowdfunding or crowdsourcing, where they received money to hire a helicopter to search for this individual, which I haven't got the details of that, or why they would have to do that, or whether they have a full-time search and rescue team available to do that. But in Las Vegas Valley, we do. And that's under my auspice. It falls under my office. We are a 24/7 operation. We have rescue helicopters. We have a cadre of 7, including a supervisor, full-time search and rescue officers. And then we have a cadre of 50 volunteers, you know, and they have various levels of skills: mountaineering skills, medical skills, everything you can imagine that's needed in a search and rescue operation to search for people, you know, just regular people that have boots on the ground to do searches. So we have a pretty robust operation, and we're involved in a couple hundred rescues a year, you know, because we're a climbing mecca here in the Las Vegas Valley. We got Lake Mead, you know, a lot of recreational areas to participate in. So that's what happens. So, you know, if you're a victim, hopefully you have a cell phone, and we can ping your phone and locate you quickly. If not, you know, we rely on information you provided to loved ones. This is where I'm going to go hike. And if I don't return, this is where I'll be. And, you know, we rely on the hikers to have their own personal safety measures, such as food and water and items of that, and know your ability.
Yeah.
That's what quite often happens. People get out there, they don't know their ability, and they get themselves in trouble.
Well, Sheriff, thank you for coming in this morning to have a little chat. If you have a question for Sheriff Lombardo, you can submit it at LasVegasNow.com. The link is on the right side of the page, and of course, we'll find out if your question was answered every Wednesday. Coming up next here